Hey, Sports and Dress fans, it's Wednesday, hump day. He's Dave, I'm Chuck. Welcome to the show. Got his Play It Through shirt on, representing today, and we got a lot of football to talk about. How was your week, Dave?
It was good. It was good. I had a bad weekend because basically all my teams lost. Oregon lost in a game they shouldn't have lost to, so I was ruined my Saturday.
They
And
do it
then my
every year.
49ers played terribly and lost a home game to their rival Seattle Seahawks, so my wife was thrilled. I was not. We went to a sports bar or Burgers and Brew. I don't know if I call it a sports bar, but it had a lot of TVs and stuff. So we went and
Oh,
watched the
Burgers. We
game.
have one here. We have one of those
Yeah,
right. That's where we had lunch today. Actually, Dylan and I had lunch at Burgers and Brew today.
yeah, it wasn't
That's
bad.
funny. I
So
didn't. I didn't
we
know it
went
was a
in there and
chain.
watched it at the bar,
Oh,
and it was pretty good. So she won that one. So that was kind of a bummer. So basically, all my teams lost. All I'm hanging on is my San Francisco Giants won the NL West over the Dodgers and have the best regular season record in Major League Baseball this year. So that was my big bonus, and that's a pretty good win. You know, it's a pretty good win. Your baseball team has the best record in baseball for the regular season, so I'll take it.
yeah. Got to take something. Um, Yeah, no, that's fantastic. We got a big weekend coming up, actually. We are both going to be sitting in NFL stadiums watching some football, albeit in two different states, but connected. You'll be in Las Vegas watching the Raiders, and I will be here in Glendale, Arizona, watching the Cardinals and the 49ers. And who are the Raiders playing again this weekend? You said it earlier today.
So my one of my best friends since I was 5 years old is a huge Bears fan his whole life,
That's
and so
right.
they're playing the Bears, and so he's bringing his 17-year-old son down for kind of like a senior trip, and so we're going to be at that Raiders Bears game, and because I've only got one vaccination, because I had got my first vaccination and I was waiting to get my second, but in between I got COVID, and my negative just showed up like a week ago. 14 days from your second shot, you can enter without having wear a mask and a wristband all day. So I wasn't able to get my second shot in time for that. So I have to wear a mask the whole game and the whole time I'm in the stadium, and I have to wear a special colored wristband to identify that I'm not fully vaccinated, but I've had one shot. If you're not vaccinated, you are not allowed in the stadium. Or if you haven't at least got one of your two shots, you are not allowed in the stadium.
Yeah, the stadium here is come watch some football, man.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I went to a preseason game and it was you had to. I think you had to wear a mask. No, you didn't have. No, I put the mask in my back pocket, thinking, oh, I'll take it in with me. Never had to wear a mask, and
Yeah.
the workers were wearing masks, and but yeah, no mask required at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. But hey, Kim, welcome once again to the show. Thanks for joining. And I know you're riding a high this week, and so with the Chargers and how they played and taking down one of the two unbeaten teams this week, and we'll get into. But thanks for joining the show. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. We'll both be watching some NFL football this weekend. I'll be tailgating, be getting there at 9 a.m. for a 1:30 game, and we'll be tailgating all morning. I don't know what the heck what you do in the parking lot for a few hours, but we'll be doing it. So,
Well, you got your sports, so you should be having your drafts because you're not going to want to pay $20 a beer when you get in there.
Right? Exactly. Speaking of drafts, kicking off this month, all month long, it'll be some Oktoberfest or October Halloween beers. So this week I got a local Four Peaks Brewing. They make a wonderful kilt lifter. Usually the beers these are affordably priced beers. I mean, they're kind of like your Budweisers of the local brew, I guess, if you will. But they have the seasonal that I guess is real popular, and it's this pumpkin porter, and it's just a 5.1 ABV, and but it's got a little bit of everything. It says nutmeg, allspice, ground clove, and a little ginger and pumpkin. Drink one, and you'll learn something the hordes of beer fans who eagerly await this arrival each year already know. It's not really autumn until the first sip of pumpkin porter. So obviously it's a nice pumpkin porter color. And so Four Peaks Brewing pumpkin porter. It's a different one. What you got?
Nice. I just went with the traditional. So we were in a store and I just grabbed a seasonal 12 pack, 4 of each of, the classic Sam Adams.
Yeah.
So I got the Sam's Oktoberfest. It's traditional. It's classic.
Yep, I like it.
It's hearty and smooth. This one's a 5.3. So, you can always look forward to Sam Adams having all of their seasonal beers out every year. You know what you're getting. It's kind of like McDonald's. You'd have it. You know what you're getting. You know what's going to taste like every time. It's consistent. So
Yep.
yeah, I got that tonight. It's just a nice little gold color.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little gold color. My wife would really probably like your beer. She's all into all things pumpkin. She's one of those ladies of the world that pumpkin and spice and everything nice once fall hits. She likes all that stuff.
Yeah, no, and I like the Sam Adams Oktoberfest. That's I usually get some of that, a 12-pack every fall, and it's a good one. I like it. They make some good beers there. So talking a little bit of football, we don't really have much of a pre-show, which is cool because it just gives us more time to talk about football. Before we get into a lot of stuff, what was your game of the week? Which last week, week 4? What was and by the way, Cindy or Jim, we should say, Dad says hi, and and your mom says some pits about the COVID thing and the testing or the mask. But
Yeah.
glad you get to go anyway, and she likes our beer, or he likes our beer. Somebody likes our beer. I don't know if it's your mom or your dad, because she gets them on but anyway.
Teamwork.
So thanks for joining the show, Jim, and glad to have you here. Anyway, what was your game of the week?
So I had 2 that tied, and it was both of the New York teams that weren't Buffalo Bills. So the Giants and the Jets, they both won their first games. They won in overtime. The Jets beat the Titans, which is crazy, and the Giants beat the Saints, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
Both getting that win in overtime. Mine was those games, the New York teams getting those OT wins.
I also had 2. They tied, and one of them was the Monday night game with the Chargers, beating the Raiders handily. I mean, I thought handily, even though the Raiders, scored 14 points in the third to get within 1. Once again, just like against KC, Herbert and the offense stayed cool and did what they had to do and scored more points and just were able to stretch it out. And I mean, they're looking. They're still a team that's like, oh man, they're good, but then it's kind of like the Ducks. Oregon Ducks football they're good, and then all of a sudden they just drop a game to Stanford that they shouldn't lose. And and where are you at then? So, I'm not going to put them up in a top tier team. I probably still may think that the Raiders, may end better at the end of the season. But it was a fun game to watch. And, but it also tied with the Cardinals Rams game. And, because, the Rams knocked off the Super Bowl champs, a week before, and then Arizona goes into, SoFi Stadium and handily takes care of the Rams by 17 points, I think it was. And, it's just, that was I thought the game would be a lot closer, but, I believe I still picked Arizona to win that game last week. But I didn't think they'd win by that much. So yeah, those 2 games I thought they were my games of the week. So defensively, I got some players of the week. We do, my defensive player of the week, I'll just go ahead and start with that, is Joe Tryon. He's an outside linebacker for the Patriots. Had 2 sacks on Tom Brady this week. And, I know it's raining, but Brady was sacked like 4 times and he had 2 of them. And so not easy to sack Tom Brady. And the Patriots, they had a good game plan this week. Obviously, they know how Tom plays, so just probably somebody that's not going to get picked very often. But Joe Tryon, a linebacker for the Patriots, was my defensive person of the week.
Nice. Mine wasn't an individual. Mine was the whole defense of the Buffalo Bills because they pitched a shutout. Yep. I know they played Houston. I know they're playing backup, but these are all still professional football players. They all make millions of dollars. It's very hard to shut out a team from not getting a field goal or anything an entire game in the NFL. Yep. So the fact that they could get a shutout, I'm going to give it to the whole defense of the Buffalo Bills for a shutout.
What about your off? I mean, that's a fantastic pick, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But what about your offensive player of the week?
This was probably the toughest one. It seemed like there wasn't really that many high-scoring games, but if I have to give it to anyone, I think I just got to give it to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they scored the most points this week. They scored 42 over the Eagles on the road. Philly's a pretty tough place to play historically. Their fans really get on you and all that kind of stuff. They're usually pretty sound defensively. But for Mahomes to put up 42 points on a week where it was kind of hard to pick an offensive player of the week, I thought, I'll just have to give it to him for scoring that many points on the road.
Sure. I actually went with, and I totally forgot he even played for the Cardinals, but I'm giving it up to James Conner, coming over from, the Steelers. Really, he's the number 2 behind Chase Edmonds. But this week he actually carried a bulk of the carries. He had 18 carries versus Chase Edmonds 12. He only had 50 yards versus Chase Edmonds 120, but he had 2 touchdowns where Chase Edmonds didn't have any. But what really got me in watching this was he was in there when it mattered. I mean, that's what really got me. James Conner was running hard. He was running strong. And he was I just thought he was hitting the hole. He was playing lights out. And, watching that game, I'd say James Conner is my starter. I mean, he's getting a lot more reps. And, I'm not taking anything away from Chase Edmonds, but James Conner was on a mission. And again, when I actually pulled up the stats, he only had 50 yards, but they were 50, I think, of the most important yards of the game. Yeah, when he had the ball. And again, he had 2 touchdowns on the day. So James Conner was my offensive person of the week.
Well, and he's a guy too. I mean, he was highly touted coming out of college out of Pittsburgh. He's a big back. Pittsburgh wanted him to be their back of the future, not Najee Harris, who they drafted this year. They really wanted, but he had some injury issues the first couple years, first few years of his career. And so basically because of injuries, they let him go. But if he's healthy, he was a very highly rated back coming out of college. So the Cardinals could really have a steal there.
Sure.
I thought Pittsburgh kind of gave up on him a little bit early, to be honest. I really think Cardinals might have got a really big steal with James Conner.
Yeah, because I was just impressed and really looking at just when they had him playing. I'm like, this is typically somewhere I'd see Chase Edmonds, but this is an important third down, and they're handing it off to James Conner, and he's getting the yards that are necessary. He's fighting for him and pushing the pile forward, and I was like, yeah, this guy's it, man. I mean, if he stays healthy all year with those 2 in the backfield, that team's just going to be that much stronger. And I think, I honestly, the coaches probably had all of this belief in him, but I think the execution, what they saw visibly, and in this game, I think this guy's going to get a few more carries each game. So he's my pick there. So my hot seat coach of the week is actually David Culley, Lovie Smith, and Tim Kelly, all coaches for the Houston Texans. Dave Culley being the head coach, Lovie Smith being the assistant coach and defensive coordinator, who allowed the opponent to drop 40 points on him, and Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator, who couldn't find a way to score 1 point all game. And, but they lost. They're 1-3. Their only win of the season is against the winless Jacksonville Jaguars. That team is a shit show. And I mean, I'm surprised that no one was fired. And yeah, so it's got to be coming. I mean, that's probably right now a real hot seat in the NFL. I didn't even look it up to see, who the experts think is already on the hot seat. But this guy, if they come out and lose in spectacular fashion again, you got to believe somebody's getting their papers and walking.
Yeah. For me, talking about fired, would be probably I'm still waiting to see, but got to be Urban at the Jaguars. Not only is he losing every game, but now he might be divorced
Yeah,
because he's messing around with co-eds at his pint house in Ohio after the game they lost to the Bengals on Thursday. He didn't go back home with the team. He stuck around.
huh?
That's not common. The coach does not stay, and the whole team goes back to Jacksonville, like ever. So he stayed in Ohio, partied it up with his Ohio State buddies at his restaurant he owns up there. If you haven't heard, there's video of him fraternizing with a young lady who was dancing and wanted pictures with him, but he went quite a bit over a photo. If you saw the video.
No, I didn't.
Got a little handsy. He got a little handsy on the video. So I'm sure he had a fun week being at home with his wife and his kids and being 0-4.
Right.
Yeah, he could be going down in flames. I mean, if I was the Jaguars owner, I'd be like, yeah, we gave it a try. Sorry. He's obviously not the man we want leading this team. Bye. Hasn't that been happening to every other person in any entertainment industry ever for the last 3 to 5 years? You can't do that.
No.
You can't be a married man and be grabbing buns in your pint house when you let your team go home. Like that, what message does that send? How many other people in jobs, if that came out in different industries, be fired the next day immediately, right? Fired. So yeah, he's on my hot seat, and I don't even know if he'll last the whole season because the fans aren't going to like that. He's not winning. Now this comes out. Where's his head going to be? Is it going to be on the field, or is it going to be at home with trying to have to make amends with his wife over this? Or is it a common thing? I don't know. I don't know Urban Meyer. I've never heard this before, though, with him. So it's just like, this guy's just making mistake after mistake after mistake. He's going to be coaching Northern Ohio State College next year, I think. Why do we put these people on a pedestal? He's losing at the NFL level, and now he's just embarrassed his entire family. That's not who I want leading my club. I've never heard Mike Tomlin in all the years he's coached the Steelers do anything like this. I've never heard other coaches, come in and lose every game they've started, and then had to have their team publicly stand up for them, or be hush hush about an incident for them. So yeah, I just cut my ties with this guy by like mid-season. There's plenty of great coaches that haven't been given an opportunity. I would have hired Eric Bieniemy in a second over Urban Meyer if I was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, there's so many other dudes out there that could be really great head coaches, and I know he had a great college career and everything, but it's not transferring over at all. They don't look like they're going to win a game all season so far. And the Jets won, and the Falcons have won, and the Giants have won. There's some other really crap teams with coaches you've never even heard of because they're assistants most of their career. Now head coaches, they've won. They won a game. No, they weren't college coaches. They won national championships, but they coached in the NFL for a long time, and they know the NFL. and they've already have better results than he does. And they've never been a head coach. He's only pretty much been a head coach. So yeah, hot seat. It's a fire seat, man. I just say they get rid of him. I think that him and Tebow can both be on the same, SEC college football broadcasting, and they can hold hands and read chapters out of the Bible with each other during halftime, and just let them go do that. And everyone that enjoys that, they can tune into the SEC network, and those guys have a long future in the broadcast booth together, I think.
Yeah, I think you were pretty passionate about that pick this week.
Well, it's just ridiculous. We're head coaches. We were coaches. What if someone caught us out at a bar when we were coaching kids and saw us not with our wife grabbing a bun? They wouldn't want us to coach their kid anymore.
No way.
It just seems like common sense to me, But they convolute everything because there's money involved and then all those things and press but really it comes down to just morals. Just fire the guy. He's not who you want leading your team. He's not who I want to be the face of my franchise. Simple. I mean, you're no better than you were before he got here.
Right?
You're not any better. So what is there to lose?
Yeah.
Save face, cut ties.
I think you're right. Probably a couple more games, and if he can't turn it around and show some promise. I mean, I thought they played fairly decent last week. I watched the game, and but yeah, I mean, they still have. There was I believe a bonehead play in there that I just couldn't believe. I think it was at the 1 yard line. Yeah, I think it was they had a 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line, I believe it was, and they put Lawrence in the shotgun. They were at the 1 foot line, And as soon as I saw the quarterback go on the shotgun, I think Dylan was down here. I'm like, what's he doing? Stop. No, what's he doing? Get up under center. You're 1 foot away and you're 6. He's tall, or give it to a running back over no, you're not going in the shotgun. And he went in the shotgun. They snapped the ball. He took a step and then went up the middle, got stuffed. I'm like, and it was slow developing. I mean, when you're in the shotgun from the 1 foot line, you're going to telegraph. You give a line that's all playing up tight, that's able to fill every gap. You can't do it. I mean, he didn't even try to run the outside, extend it, do anything. It just snapped the ball and then straight and up, and he got stuffed. And I'm like, you're sick. I got to look. He looks tall. And
he's like 6'6".
Yeah, he should have been able to get under center, snap the ball, jump up over the top, or hand it off to running back to go over the top, or move the pile. I mean, there's so many plays that could be done. But as soon as I saw them setting up in the shotgun, I said, "This is a joke," and I started yelling at the TV and knowing that and that's what Dylan says. No one can hear you, right, Dad? You can yell at the TV, but no one can hear you, right? And I said,
I feel good about it when I yell at the TV. I did that the Oregon game, same exact play. They had the ball like 4 inches from the goal line, and they ran their quarterback in a shotgun. So he's starting at 5 yards deep, 6 yards deep, and the running back's to his right in line for him. So they have to get 5 inches, and they're starting 6 yards away from the line.
Right. Exactly.
And I was doing the same thing. I was talking, I stood up and I'm like, what are you doing? And it was the very end of the second half. It was a close game with Stanford. And he got the shotgun and it was an option to the right. He should have pitched it. If he would have pitched it, the running back would have walked in. Dye would have just walked into the end zone. No one went over there with him. And he stopped. He paused. Which, why would you pause? And, I think he was trying to read it, but he read it wrong. He kept it. I think he lost 2 yards. Like, he wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And then the second half, they got to goal line again. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, if they go shotgun again, did you not learn from anything you did the last time you were in this situation? And luckily they didn't. They stayed in, put him under center. I think they handed it off up the middle or through the 4 hole or 2 hole. And I was like, yeah, just pound it. You're right. You're right there. You're right there. Why start 5-6 yards back?
Agreed.
When you need 6 inches. I don't
I don't get it.
understand. I mean, you got to go so much further. To me, it's just common sense stuff. Like, what do they say? The fastest way to get to A to B is a straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make your line longer because there's no way you can get there faster if you're starting from further away. So
Yeah.
it's like just
It's not like getting a running head start. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're a quarterback. Again, I'm good with running backs powering through on a 6-inch line or tall quarterbacks, you know, getting behind the
Yeah.
big guard and just stretching that ball out. Stretching that was one of that to me was probably the bonehead play of the week for me, and I was ranting and raving for minutes afterwards. I can't believe that they would call something like that. But so anyway, looks like somebody may be home at your house now. So so hey, let's get into our picks of the week. And so actually, no, I was gonna play it through, but we'll do that after. Let's go ahead and get into the picks of the week. Now I hate sharing this. It's just almost not fair. You know, it looks like I picked up a couple of games this week on you. I think I had a 4-game lead last week, I believe, and picked up a couple more. Kind of stretching out that lead on you. That's it's not like me. You know, I feel I'd have fallen apart.
Look at you now.
You know?
I have a losing record. You really picked it up. You got me by 3 games this week. So,
which games were they?
You took the Browns. I took the Vikings. And the Browns covered. It was 2. They won by 7. And then you took the Giants not to get beat by 8, and they only got beat by 6. And I took the Saints to cover, so they didn't. And then you took the Cardinals, and they were the underdog, and they ended up winning by 17. And I took the Rams because they had played so well the week before against the Bucks. So every one that we differed on, you won. We were the same on every other pick. So I didn't win any that you didn't pick. You won all of them.
Well, so this is your week.
Well done to you. Well done to you.
Well, actually, before we get into the picks, let's go ahead and if you don't mind, let's go ahead and do the play it through person of the week.
Yeah, sure.
And let's get that taken care of and share with our fans, you know, who you've selected this week for play it through. And I'm not familiar with this person, so I'm going to learn right along with everyone else who you've selected.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this one this week because I didn't know about this person really until yesterday. So I was just kind of doing some research on some inspirational sports stories, and it just happened to tie in with this last weekend. So play it through person of the week this week is Claire Lomas. She's from England. So in 2007, she was left paralyzed from the chest down after a horse riding accident. Claire just last Sunday finished her second London marathon. She finished the marathon in 6 hours and 40 minutes right there in her conventional wheelchair. You know, you can see that she did so wearing motorcycle racing leathers and a helmet. Her husband and their friend actually ran next to her, and they were both dressed as Grand Prix grid girls. They had wigs, they had skirts. You can see they're in boots. Apparently the friend got blisters partway through and was struggling because they were silly and wore boots for 26-mile marathon. And then her husband, I guess, got a bad cramp. Claire, it was really hard for her, I guess, to maneuver, especially up the hills and things in that leather suit. But they did it. So they did it, 6 hours and 40 minutes. They were greeted by their 2 daughters at the finish line. And Claire trained up to 20 miles per day for this challenge. So when Claire decided to do this challenge, she wasn't sure if she could even finish it in a whole day because in 2012, which is a picture right here, that was the first time she had done the London Marathon was in 2012. She tried to complete it. And kind of what you're looking at here is she was in a revolutionary robotic suit. So that's actually like a suit that helped her legs move, even though she was paralyzed and she had the crutches there, but it was a robotic suit she wore. And she wasn't even able to finish in a full day in 2012. It actually took her 17 days to complete the 26-mile marathon. And you only get, I guess, a medal if you finish in one day, this 26 miles. So she was really excited this time because she did get the medal that she wanted. So Claire does this, and she does a lot of challenges, but she did this to raise kids money for Whiz Kids. It's a charity which provides mobility equipment for young wheelchair users. You know, she often does challenges and chooses different charities to donate to. Her next one is October 17th. Her sponsorship for that challenge will fund the Nichols Spinal Injury Foundation. And to date, she's raised just under $1 million for spinal research. And then she also goes out and makes money for the charities as a motivational speaker. So just an amazing story. I can't even imagine. I've sat in conventional wheelchairs and just tried to maneuver them around the room, and that's hard enough. But I mean, imagine going 26 miles and doing that, going uphill. I mean, she had hills to go up, going uphill, keeping your speed going downhill, so you're not going too fast. Just maneuvering in that chair for 26 miles, just incredible. So, for all those reasons and all the charity aspects that I really love about it and the training, I mean, can you imagine doing 20 miles a day in a wheelchair? I mean, you bike, Chuck. You're a fully mobile guy who bikes, and you know how many miles 26 miles is just on a bike. You imagine doing it in a wheelchair and going uphill and stuff. So I just think that Claire is amazing. So that's why Claire Lomas is our Play It Through Person of the Week.
Yeah, it's I do 26 miles, and it's at a pretty good pace. It usually, 16 to 18 miles an hour, and so it goes by pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, just the perseverance to, back in 2012 to say, yeah, you know what, I couldn't do it here, but I'm going to finish it, and just to commit to the 17 days that it took to be able to complete it. I mean, because it'd be so easy to say, you know what, we'll try something different next year. Or we'll do it again next year, but I'm try something different, and just think about next year and just to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And crazy that the willpower that people have. I've said it every week. It's just crazy that I'd give it up a lot sooner.
I mean, that's my favorite part about this segment is just I'm just blown away by the effort of some of these people. I mean, they have everything against them, and it'd be so hard to do half of these things just as an able-bodied person. I mean, just the drive you have to, the commitment, the pain, the training, the failing at first. I mean, there's got to be so much failure at first when you're trying to figure all this out, and just the effort and, trying to figure out how to do it, as well as figuring out physically how to do it, but mentally how to do it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I love finding all these stories, these people that are just doing these incredible things that I can't even fathom. It's hard for me to even want to get up and take a mile walk, let alone wheelchair 26 miles in just under 7 hours. It's incredible.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into that time of the show where you get to try and catch up with me this week. Our week 5 picks.
Start picking some dogs.
Don't be taking my strategy. Now, to be fair, I haven't actually. I downloaded the document and I didn't make my picks, so I'm gonna make them on the fly here.
Cool. Me too.
So maybe. Oh, you will too. Thanks. Great.
I typed it up, but I wasn't really looking at them. I didn't really think about them at all yet.
Yeah, I'll go first here. Rams are traveling to Seattle, and they're 2.5-point favorites. For me, it's under a field goal. I'm taking the Rams here on the road, and I think they're just a better team than the Seahawks are.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even though Seattle beat San Francisco in San Francisco last week, we played most of the game with our rookie backup quarterback that didn't look like he really knew what he was doing. We had some other injuries, and we barely lost. So, and I saw Seattle lose to Tennessee, who just lost to the Jets at home. And I believe, if all the equations are working out right in my head, that means the Rams can pull off a field goal win in Seattle. So I'll agree with you.
Yeah, and I'll wait till we get to your game. So we got our first London game across the pond.
Lucky them.
Yeah, right. Woo! Falcons and the Jets are coming. Woo-hoo.
It's like a punishment. What did they do?
It's a punishment to the Falcons and Jets for, I guess, not being that. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. You got to go eat their food now for a week.
I don't know who to pick here, to be honest. But I will probably, I'll probably side with just to catch up before we get too far. Kim says she's taking the Hawks, and Robert's got the Rams by a touchdown. So
yeah, buddy. Robert will also be in Las Vegas this weekend, but not at the Raider Bear game.
Oh.
So I will get to see Robert this weekend for a meal, hopefully.
Awesome. So yeah, in this game, I'm just gonna take the Falcons just because I got Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key.
Yep. For the same reason, I'll take the Falcons. I'll take the veteran over the rookie.
How about Packers are favored by 3 going to Cincinnati? What you got there?
I was kind of surprised this was only 3. Mm-hmm. And Joe Burrow isn't bad. He's got some playmaker receivers. Joe Mixon is a little nicked up. I don't know if the Bengals line is amazing, but I also don't know if the Packers have that great of a defense. But I will definitely take the Packers to win by a field goal with Aaron Rodgers, with how they've been playing the last couple games.
Yeah, I'm Packers. This is an easy one for me right now, unless it's like another letdown game, like game 1 for them. But yeah, there's no reason they can't blow this game open. And just want to say, Jessica, my daughter-in-law, is watching the show. So thanks. Oh, and she said sorry, I got to go back up a couple. She said the Jets, and then says no reason. I'm just guessing. Jets, Jets.
She could probably guess them all and get as many as I'm going to get right.
Exactly right, because we're doing is guessing. And Robert on that last one had picked Atlanta. Kim on this one is picking the Packers, and Robert says Mixon likely to miss the game. Green Bay for sure. And hello, Jessica. Thanks for watching the show. So we both have the Packers there, and here we go. We got the Lions visiting Minnesota. Minnesota 7.5 point favorite. I didn't think the Lions were playing that bad, but yeah, that's a tough one for me. The Vikings played Cardinals
terribly.
Strong. No, they played them strong. I mean, okay, I'll say
offense was awful.
Yeah, they were able to move the ball easily on Arizona with the run game, and even though they lost, but this is a tough one for me. I'm gonna. Oh. I should just flip a coin. I don't own a coin. Nobody owns money anymore. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings too. I think it's going to be a bounce back game. Their offense played terribly last week. They didn't score hardly any points. Yeah, I need to catch up. Huh? I probably should take the Lions. They haven't been playing awful though. I don't think they've been getting really blown out. But I think by 7.5, I don't know. I think the Vikings they'll have that big comeback game this week at home against a division rival and just try to bury them. So I see this as a statement game for the Vikings to get back on track.
Okay. Broncos at the Steelers. The Steelers with their walkers. Steelers are at home. They're favored by 1. Broncos, they're not a bad team. Not a bad team. I'm probably still just going to take the Steelers here, just because they're at home, I guess.
I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm just going to pick the
Smart
Broncos because it's 1 point. You know, Bridgewater's playing pretty well. Their defense is all right. The Steelers look a little rough. Ben's not moving around so great from what I saw against the Packers. And I think the Broncos could get some pressure on him. So I'll just differ with you, and I'll take the Broncos. Plus, I need to catch up on some picks here, and this might be one. This one I might have a decent chance of
yeah, but the Broncos lost the Ravens 23-7. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
I have to catch up somehow.
Yeah, you got to catch up somehow. All right, so Dolphins are going to Tampa Bay, so it's not a real long drive for them. But the Bucks are favored by 10. What you got here?
10 is a lot, but Dolphins are pretty terrible. The Bucks could be coming. I mean, they're at home and they just lost their first game. Well, they just won a real close one against the Patriots in a big game. So I think they're going to settle in at home. I'll take that big spread. I think the Bucks will win by 10 at home, even though that's a big spread, because the Dolphins just aren't. They're not very good.
Okay, and just to close up the last one, we had a couple of picks that came in. Jessica says the Steelers because she went to high school with Marcus Williams. And
insider info,
right? And Kim is taking the Broncos, or Jessica's taking the Dolphins on this pick because the movie Ace Ventura. Kim's taking the Broncos and the Bucks, and I am also taking the Bucks. Sorry, Jessica. Yeah, this should be a big statement game for because I was not impressed. I mean, with all the hype of the Sunday night game, sure it was raining. I was a close game, and the Bucs should have lost. I mean, Patriots had a game-winning field goal, and the Bucs should have lost. So that was not an impressive game. We both took the a big spread on that game, and that game did not go in any way how anyone thought that game was going to go. So I guess I'm really going to give that victory to Bill Belichick, just for game prep. But yeah, so the Bucs, I got the Bucs on this one. And Saints are going on the road to Washington and are favored. Who knows what the Saints are going to do? You cannot pick. No one can pick this game. I'm taking Washington.
They're at home. They do have good home field advantage. But let's see, what's the history? The Saints won. They blew out. Right, the Green Bay the first week. They win, they lost, they win. So they lost last week. So they're going to win. So I'll take the Saints. It's a pattern. Sometimes things in the world is a pattern, and the Saints now are a pattern. So I'll take the Saints.
And Kim's saying Washington, the Washington football team. So, so we got now the Eagles, who I really wanted to have a better showing last week against KC, and but the Eagles are there we go. Siri woke up. Eagles are going to Carolina. Carolina's favored by 3.5. I'm going to take this is a tough one too, because the Eagles can do well, but the Panthers I think are a good team. I'm taking the Panthers.
I'm going to take the Panthers, too. I think they're just kind of sneaky. Sam Darnold's playing pretty well. They're figuring out how to score points. They're not allowing a ton of points. I think they're 3-1, aren't they? They're kind of a sneaky team right now, early in the season, and they're at home. So I'll agree with you, and I'll take the Panthers. And they're doing it kind of without McCaffrey, too. So,
and he did have a light practice today.
Okay. I think Panthers.
No guarantee. And Kim is choosing the Panthers also. So Titans, who you never know you know what? If I'm the Titans, I'm embarrassed right now. I'm absolutely embarrassed that I'm only getting 4 points playing the winless Jaguars. Um, this is this, but this is also representative of how bad they've played this year, and Titans have just fallen apart. Yeah, I'm still taking the Titans because
yeah.
it's the Jaguars.
Well, yeah, exactly. And to me, if the Titans lose this game, you fire the coach.
Yeah,
He can't lose to the Jaguars. He's basically expected to win that division, at the start of the season. So you can't lose. You can't lose to the Jaguars, especially with all the crap that's going on with the Jaguars right now.
right.
They have to win. To me, that's a must win. In week 5, this is a must win for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, they're 2-2
Like this,
right now.
this game could make or break their whole mental season. Really.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, I totally take the Titans because they have to win this game.
yeah. Kim's taking the Titans along with us. So, way to be a bandwagoner, Kim. I'm kidding. Patriots are 9-point favorites visiting the 1-3 Texans, who their only win was against the Jaguars. Patriots looked pretty impressive against the Bucks last week in the rain. They had a good game plan. But their favorite, that's 9 points is a lot. I mean, yeah, I guess the Texans did get beat by 40. So that would have been a good spread to take last week if you're betting. Yeah, I'm good with the Patriots at 9.
Yeah, I think if the Bills can beat the Texans by 40, the Patriots are at least a quarter as good as the Buffalo Bills, and they can win by 10.
Yeah.
So, Patriots.
Yeah. Kim's with us on the Patriots. And the Bears, Raiders, you will be sitting row 1 on the 50-yard line, I'm sure. But
mid 200 level,
right.
mid lower 200.
All right. Raiders are favored by 5.5 at home against the Bears. Justin Field has been given the go ahead, the QB1 moving forward. Andy Dalton, sit your butt down. And yeah. So
David Montgomery may not play, the best offensive player for the Bears. Looking doubtful that he will play.
Well, and let me see if this sways you in any way. Kim's taking the Bears. I know you're a big Bears fan. You're a big Bears fan.
Second favorite team.
Yeah.
And on the week that I'm going to be at the game, I got to take the Bears. The Bears, 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 the Bears.
Oh, you're taking the Bears.
To not lose by 5.5.
Okay.
Game-winning field goal by the Raiders. It's going to be so exciting. Going to fight my way out of there.
I'm gonna take the Raiders 5.5. They just got destroyed in LA, and I'm sure John Gruden's not going to be happy about it. But maybe we'll see a little bit of new quarterback play this week if they're not playing well in the first half.
That was my
I'm still hoping
pick.
that Marcus Mariota will step in.
I think that's a good pick. That's a good pick for you. I mean, I'm picking that with my heart, not with my head.
Oh, I totally get. I would do the same thing. This is a big game.
This is a good game. This might be the game of the week. This might be my game of the week after it's all said and done next week.
You got 2 hot teams. Obviously, the Chargers are. I think they've both just lost 1, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, this is a big game. I'm going to see who you're picking here first, though.
So, it worked out for me last week. The first 2 weeks I picked against the Chargers. But then I picked the Chargers and they won. So I didn't mess anything up. There's no jinx. No jinx happened. And my boy Justin Herbert is playing some ball right now. He is dropping some dimes. So I'm a little worried about the monster Myles Garrett and Clowney coming at him, but I think he can handle it well. I'm going with Justin Herbert and the Chargers to win at home against the Browns.
Yeah, I'm giving home field advantage to this one. I think this is going to be a good game. I think there could be a lot of points scored here. I'm curious what the over/under is on this game, but yeah, I'm taking the Chargers, and because the Raiders were able to get to Herbert and Monday night, and it didn't phase him. So he got hit hard on one sack in the back, or just got rid of the ball, and he got blindside and stood in there and just kept it going. The team is willing to go fourth and short. Yeah, I think they were perfect on fourth and fourth and whatever Monday night. I think they went for it twice and got it both times. I mean, just having that, that attack attitude. Yeah, I'm going to put that on the Chargers, but the Browns have been playing some really good football. They're both 3-1. So I'm going to give the home field here to the Chargers. Surprisingly, Kim is picking the Chargers, and right, that's such a shocker, Kim. Giants going to Dallas. Dallas is favored by 7. As hard as it is, I got to take the Cowboys. Got to take the Cowboys at home by 7.
I probably would have took them if it was 13. I think they're going to bury the Giants.
Yeah. Kim says Dallas also. So,
so she's got a rivalry because her son Larry is a Cowboy fan, but her sister Candy is a Giant fan. So, do you have them? Do you have them over? Do you have them over for bugles and some sandwiches and stuff, or do you try to keep the family together and have them watch it separately? That's really the question.
It's funny. So the game I will be in attendance for and tailgating will be the 49ers coming to the Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by 5.5. Jimmy Garoppolo still up in the air, could play, may not play. And looking at Dylan and I were at lunch today, and I was looking at the fantasy points, and Trey Lance had 28 fantasy points in the second half. So I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I didn't see how he played, but he obviously
got some rushing
well.
yards. He tacked on some rushing yards to his passing for sure.
But he may be more of a threat than Garoppolo. So I'd like to see. I wish I could call this when I knew who the quarterback was going to be, because I'd probably be a little more. No, I'm kidding. I'm taking the Cardinals by 5.5. They're the only unbeaten team. I'm trying to make this dramatic. Hey, but no, I'm taking the Cardinals at home. They're rolling, and the 49ers are,
rolling uphill. Yeah, it's my team. I never want to bet against my team. So I'm not gonna. I'll take the Niners. I don't want to. Because the Cardinals are just playing so well. And what they do well is what I think we do the worst, which is our defensive backs are awful so far. We haven't found any free agents that have really helped. We've signed some veteran guys that haven't really panned out. Some of them aren't even barely playing. I heard a really funny joke this week that I'll share with you. So, if you look at the 49er emblem, you can see, on that emblem, it's an oval, right? Do you know why the 49ers emblem is an oval, Chuck?
No, Dave, I don't know why the 49ers logo is an oval.
Because they got no corners. And it's a good joke, and it's a true joke. And when you have Hopkins, and you got old man AJ Green now playing fairly good, you got Max Williams that can even do some stuff. You have Edmonds catching out of the backfield. I mean, I'm going to pick my 49ers out of hope, but I could very easily see, especially if Trey Lance is the starting quarterback, I could see the Cardinals burying them. I really could see the Cardinals scoring a lot of points and burying them, but I'm gonna take the Niners and hope I get lucky.
So I agree with Robert that the Cardinals are going to show, either quarterback that the 49ers start who's tops in the West, and this is a division game, so one team's winning, is really playing for first, and the other isn't. So or keeping, playing to keep first. And Kim's taking the cards on that one too. So I'm going to be. I hope it's a rout because I like to see a lot of scoring, especially if I have to go sit in person. So, Bills.
Are you going to wear gear? Are you going to wear Cardinals gear? And don't say I'm going to wear red. Both teams are red and white. So, are you going to wear something that says the Arizona Cardinals on it?
I am. The last game I went to, I bought this hat, and then before I leave, I will be buying myself a shirt or jersey. I'm going to try and find a jersey.
Nice.
I have a problem nowadays buying a jersey with somebody else's name on it. So I just don't know whose jersey I would purchase.
I got that too. I've actually sold a lot of mine because I'm having that midlife crisis syndrome also of why should I wear another man that's younger than me's name on my back?
Right.
So there's that whole thing. And I think that comes with age for sure. Because I used to collect jerseys. I used to have at one time like 50 of them. And now I'm down to, I think, 10. And most of them are 49er jerseys. But you can see I have one I don't wear right here, Michael Jordan jersey. And I still have a few. But, yeah, it's kind of hard. But if you are to buy a jersey, who do you think you want? You know what you do that's smart? You get yourself a Pat Tillman. You get yourself a Pat Tillman jersey.
Ooh.
That's the move. Because it's honorable. The man lost his life,
Yeah.
joining our military services. He's a legend there. You're going to see the statue before you go in of him. If I were to get any Cardinal jersey in history, I would buy a Pat Tillman jersey, and it checks off every box, and it's absolutely okay for any man to wear a Pat Tillman jersey.
That's a smart move, Dave. Smart move. I'll have to see if any of the sports stores I go to have them, or I hate to buy it on site because I think this hat was like $40, and but it's a nice hat.
I do think any Pat Tillman jersey though does go to partially of it goes towards charity.
Yeah,
for the Pat Tillman Foundation.
I'll have to see if I can find one. Tillman Street cred, no matter what. Can't tell if you're a bandwagon fan or not. Oh, me? A bandwagon?
Oh, he's just saying if you get it, you can't.
Oh.
No one would be able to tell. I mean, gotcha. I'm a Niner fan, and I'd wear a Pat Tillman jersey.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
Robert, misunderstood. All right, so, hey, we got the Bills going to KC. KC is – Bills just dropped 40 on the Texans, but, hey, it was the Texans. It was a 1-3 Texans who I have to continue to point out their only win was against the winless Jaguars. Chiefs are they're at home. Yeah, I know they've struggled. They've lost a couple of games, but they're only favored 2.5. That's less than a field goal. That's dangerous. I'm taking the Chiefs. So I think they can win by at least a field goal. I hope they win.
This may be the other game of the week. This to me was at the start of the season. This was my AFC Championship game prediction: Bills Chiefs. And just to differ with you, because the Bills have played so strong the last couple weeks.
Yeah, you're going to win.
And the Chiefs are only 2-2. I will try to pick up a game on you with a good team playing another good team, and I will take the Bills to try to catch up. I do believe the Chiefs at home definitely could win by a field goal, but I'm going to take the Bills because this may be an opportunity for me to get one on you.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think I picked too soon. I think you're gonna. I think you could win this game. Kim's taking the Bills, and Robert agrees with Kim about the Bills. So I'm out here on my island by myself, taking the Chiefs. And So Chiefs, you better not let me down. So Indianapolis visiting Baltimore, and Baltimore is favored by 7. What say you, Dave?
I'm going to have to go with the Ravens at home. I like, John Harbaugh as a coach. He's a good coach. If you get Lamar Jackson on a pretty good roll, if he can come out and be confident against that Colts team, which is, got your favorite quarterback Carson Wentz on it. I just don't. I see the Ravens being able to win by 7 at home against a Colt team that's, they're okay. They're not good. They're not bad. Probably closer to the bad side maybe right now than the good side. They're still figuring some stuff out, but I'll take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens also. Colts are 1-3, and Ravens are opposite 3-1. They're at home. They have to win by 7 at home against a 1-3 team. Kim's agreeing with us with the Ravens, and that shouldn't be. Hopefully, that's not that much. Hey, that's it. So that's the Monday night game, right? I said a couple more band.
That's the Monday night game too, which is weird. Why are you going to put the Colts? Why are you going to put the Colts on Monday night? I feel like there's better games that they could have put on this week. I mean, that Chargers-Browns game, even though I know the Chargers were just kind of on prime time, but I would – the Rams-Seahawks is a great Thursday night game. That's by far the best Thursday night game they've had so far because they've had some real stinkers the first part of the season on those Thursday night games if you look back at who played. But yeah, I mean, I think even like the Packers Bengals or, something like that, just Ravens Colts, that seems like a really boring Monday night game. I'm really going to look at the ratings, especially after they've had some really good Monday night games already. I'm really going to be interested in the ratings on that game compared to the other Monday night games they've had so far.
I think you plan, and just to get Robert in there, he's taking the Colts and the points. And, so he doesn't think that the Baltimore can beat them by 7 at home. But I think there's weeks every year. It's like, oh, honey, I've been, or somebody's like, you've been watching football every Monday. Okay, I'll take a week off. It's the Ravens and the Colts. You pick those games. You throw those games out there so that just to keep the family happy. I don't know. I'm usually watching the game. I'll start the game on the TV, and then Layla will finish up work and we'll eat dinner. And then she'll watch her shows. And then I have my iPad on the coffee table with my AirPods in, and I watch the game on low, while she's watching her show. And sometimes I'll try to pay attention to both, but I'll still watch the game, at least on my iPad and give up the TV. But I mean, it's one of those, take the week off games,
Yeah, kind of.
Just watch ESPN later and you'll get it. You'll get everything you need to know.
So I'm kind of curious, since we do have Robert T-Bone Harris on the show right now, and he's going to be in Las Vegas, and he's a good sports bettor, and we like to go up there for March Madness, and we like to bet on games together, and we spend 4 days together betting on college basketball. I'm just interested because I'm probably only going to share one meal with him. Unfortunately, this isn't a trip together. This was separate trips that just happened to come on the same weekend. Out of all these games, Robert, where are you going to put your money where your mouth is? What games will I see you at the sports book to drop some coin on? If you had to pick two games, you'd just plop down a nice $50 $50 bet on each, $100 out of your pocket, two $50 games. What's your 2 games this week you're putting money on in Vegas? And I'll look and I'll do the same. I won't just call Robert out. And you know what? Maybe I'll plop these bets down, and then when we come back next Wednesday, I can tell you if I won these bets or not. And that will be a little something for everyone that tunes into the show on YouTube or here live or watches the recording here. You'll have some stake in the game because you'll know Dave put some skin in the game while he's in Vegas this weekend.
He's getting
won't
be there in time.
Would you like me to place a bet for you, Robert? We have played bets for people. Don't want to put you in the spot, but we have placed bets for many people since they weren't there. Mine this week that I would take to put money on is the Titans by 4 over the Jaguars, because that is a must win, and I don't even feel like it's a must win. It's a must blowout win. They must destroy them. So I'd probably put money on the Titans. And then my other lock. What's my other lock of the week? Packers by 3 over the Bengals, I think, is my other lock. Because I would take the Packers.
Packers by 9. No. Oh,
No,
Packers.
3.
Packers.
Yeah.
Never. I was looking at Patriots.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think I would put money on the Packers to beat the Bengals, even though they're on the road. Wisconsin and Cincinnati isn't across the whole country. But I think I would put money on the Packers to beat the Bengals by 3, and I would put money definitely on the Titans to beat the Jaguars by 4.
Robert says the Titans cost him a couple hundred last week and can't bet on them. And Green Bay is a solid bet. I've never bet on sports.
Oh, you will this March when you go with me to March Madness.
There we go. You'll have to show me the ropes.
I don't know any ropes.
Just
I know the
throw a
fun
dart at
places
the
where.
paper.
Yeah, I know a fun place where to bet.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you, don't pick parlays unless you want to lose all your money. That's for sure.
it's fun stuff. So, well, have a fantastic time and
You too.
in Vegas and enjoy the game and take some pictures, video, and we'll share our journeys this weekend in the world of NFL football. And so thanks, Robert and Kim and Jessica and Jim and Cindy. Thanks everyone for joining the show and being a part of the show because this is why we do it. I mean, obviously we do it for fun. Unfortunately, we don't get paid to do this. Chuck will clean up first time luck. Yeah.
That's how it always works.
That's how it always works. Right. And then you look like a pro and you put all that money back and you lose it all. So thanks, Kim. Enjoy that game. It's going to be a fun one to watch and in LA. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic week. We will see you all back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m. on the West Coast and for Sports and Drafts on YouTube and Facebook. So have a fantastic week, Dave. And we'll and see you next week. So, and all right. See you, everyone. Have a great week.